The recent Strixhaven Curriculum of Chaos introduced us to the Owlin, a humanoid owl folk who, while technically unique to Strixhaven, can easily fit into just about any fantasy setting you throw at it. With plenty of real-world owls to base your character on, this new playable lineage is bound to excite some very specific people. Birdwatchers? Legend of the Guardians fans? Anyone else who wishes that they had the owl teacher from Franklin as their teacher? But how exactly do these birds of prey play? Well, not only is today's episode 100% about the Owlin, it's also 100% free of Who-related puns. So let's get into it. I have, and I say this with zero exaggeration, never seen a 5e race or lineage released with less information. We don't have any cultural or even much in the way of physical descriptions other than it looks like an owl. This is a double-edged sword because while we're not getting that much in the way of specifics, we do essentially have a blank canvas to play with when it comes to building your owl person. And as with any race that is a humanoid plus an animal, you have all the real-world versions of that animal to draw inspiration from. And as you can see from the plenty of owls that you have at your disposal, it's not going to be hard to try and find inspiration for your owl character. As with the other recent 5e additions, the Owlin are an exotic lineage rather than a race, and this means that the ability scores are up to you, and it only sets the racial features in stone. There aren't a lot of surprises here, and if you simply picked out an owl's most prominent features, you'll find them all represented here. When it comes to creature type, no surprise, you are humanoid, and when it comes to size, you are medium or small. Many of the recent lineages have had this small or medium option, which in part showcases how little mechanical difference there is between the two, but it is a nice extra dimension of character customization. Is your Owlin a giant bird of prey, or just a little owl person? Well, now you can see that represented, and in, like I said, a very small mechanical difference. If you're building a martial class Owlin, though, be aware that small creatures have limited weapon options, and that your flight will already restrict your armor options. When it comes to speed, you've got a basic 30-foot movement speed tied to your flight speed. And keep this in mind when making your character, as any movement speed bonuses will also apply to your flight. I'm surprised they didn't call this advanced dark vision or something similar, because it's significantly stronger than your standard dark vision. Significantly. Most instances of dark vision cap out at 60 feet, but the Owlin is double that at 120. This can be more useful than you might think, as some dungeons are designed with normal dark vision in mind, putting threats just at the edge of 60 feet in the darkness. Threats that your Owlin will see with no problem. Now, for what some of you are probably picking this for, flight. Adding true flight to a playable race is divisive, but it's definitely powerful with only an armor restriction. Your Owlin should almost certainly wear light armor, or really no armor, to make use of this flying speed, but beyond that it has no real restrictions. And last but not least, we have Silent Feathers. Owlin pick up a free stealth skill proficiency, which isn't terribly exciting, but it's useful all the same. And if you've ever seen those videos of like owls flying over beds of feathers or something like that, this is only doing their real-world stealth a small service. Perhaps it's even doing it a disservice. The Owlin, like any other race or lineage, has features that push them towards certain strategies. Any character with a built-in power of flight is primed to take advantage of ranged combat. The ability to deal damage at range while airborne is almost always useful and can win some fights altogether if the enemy is relying on melee attacks and can't reach you. This means dexterity-based ranged martial builds of fighter or ranger can fit the Owlin beautifully. This means that dexterity-based ranged martial builds of fighter or ranger can fit the Owlin beautifully. Spellcasters that already can't use heavier armors and that make ranged spell attacks are also ideal, such as the sorcerer or wizard. Finally, the combination of flight, stealth, and the inbuilt armor restrictions also make the rogue an excellent Owlin character choice. As a DM, unfortunately, I don't think I'm really a fan of what Strixhaven has to offer on a ludonarrative level, but the Owlin is an example of the flavorful potential it has when put in the hands of an eager group of players. In the short time that they have been around, I have already had a player at my table grow quite attached to their Owlin character. things like that honestly make the excessive revising and homebrewing I've had to do for Strixhaven that much more worth it. Sorry to conclude this video with a passive-aggressive personal review of Strixhaven, but there you go. I promise no who puns. I did not say I wouldn't be petty. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe because we put out new content like this every week. And if you're going to be building an Owlin character, I would love to hear about them down in the comments. Thanks again for watching. My name is Patrick Ferguson from Skull Splitter Dice, and until next time, farewell.